That we will. And spawning up at the top right for Berserker Esports, it is BattleB.
His opponent at the bottom left, a Spaniard. For Platinum Heroes, it is AqueroN.
And, well, TVT. TVT on Tropical Sacrifice. Neither of them are going to go for the Proxy Rax Reaper here. Even if both of these players have, you know, kind of accepted, which I hope they haven't, and I don't think they would have, but even if they had accepted that, you know, they're not going to make it through, this is still a big money match. $200 for a best of 3. That's a pretty nice show match right there, if ever there was one.
Yeah, that's effectively for every series they play in DreamHack Europe. It's the same, or every victory they get, right, is effectively as if they were playing for the championship of an EPT Cup. So, not bad at all. I would love a random $200 on a Sunday. It means I can go out for brunch. Actually, I don't think brunch is not that expensive, but I could go out for brunch and take like 10 of my favorite friends out to brunch.
I was going to say, that's going to be some really nice brunch.
Champagne brunch, you know, get some caviar there.
Yeah, exactly. You could with 200 USD, I think, absolutely. And it better be... Actually, how much is caviar? I don't even know. All I know is that it's an expensive thing for some reason. It's one of those things where people have been convinced that it's like an expensive food. And it just is. Lobster's the same way.
Oh, hey now. Lobster is delicious.
Oh, I love lobster. But it also is like... doesn't have to be an expensive food, you know?
Yeah, it's actually funny. Back in the early 1900s, they would just go pick up... I mean, lobsters were much more populous than they are now, but they would go and they would pick up lobsters from the beach. and then they'd say, you know what? We need to feed our prisoners. So they would just chop it all up in like this gruel, I guess. And then it was prisoner food. And then someone realized, wait a minute, these lobsters are delicious.
Huh. We can charge rich people millions.
There we go. And then you get rock lobster and things. Yeah.
B-52s, brilliant stuff. Love the B-52s. This Double Reaper could actually get something done here. The supply depot is in a good spot, but this could get something done if BattleB doesn't respond very quickly.
So into the main base they go. BattleB, he's responding, but as you say, just a little bit slow. Now it takes 3 shots of these Reapers to go kill any SCV, so one will fall, and the reaction of BattleB seems quick enough, which means, well, they got, what, one SCV, 2 Reapers go down. It's a scout, I guess, but not super consequential. They didn't go to the right side of the mineral line. They didn't check the natural. So steadfast in the balance of things. It's really AqueroN throwing away his map presence.
A little bit, but it is kind of by design with the build. This is something that the first Terran player, the Terran player at least that comes to mind when I think of this, is Gumiho. Gumiho loves to go for just 2 Reapers straight up into a quick Cyclone, and even in this case a double Cyclone, and he will go for the double Reaper sack and just get what damage he can. Now BattleB was relatively quick to respond, and only losing 1 SCV is totally fine. Oh, now this is actually very interesting from BattleB. He's going to go across the map with just the Reaper, well, the Reaper's Hellions and 2 Marines in a medevac. Doesn't wait for the 4 Marines. Meanwhile, it will be the double Cyclone drop for AqueroN, and he's going to be able to pick off one of those Hellions instantly.
I love that, right? We have the 2 Marines and a Cyclone drop running into, effectively. I mean, it's the Outriders. It's the Forerunners running into that, but even still, this weird paired-up scenario, and I mean, this absolutely wins for BattleB here. The Reapers on top of the Cyclone, on top of the Marines. Well, yeah, these Marines of AqueroN, they just die. And the Cyclone drop, it's not doing any damage on the other side. AqueroN realizes, I'm in trouble. I need to get something done here. I need to return. I need every fighting unit I can, which means that the drop is coming home, but steadfast, it was on the other side of the map. It's taking forever to get back here. The hot pickup on the Reaper, because why the hell not? This is getting so much damage done for BattleB.
It is getting a nasty amount of damage done. Ooh, he does take down that medevac. Nice job right there from AqueroN with the double lock-on onto it, which will mean that this Cyclone goes down. Oh, hot pickup. Oh, that was a that was a bad scan from BattleB. He should have known he was never going to kill that Cyclone. That was he scanned to try and keep the lock on, but he's assuming that AqueroN doesn't get the hot pickup. And to be honest, at this level, you have to assume that they are going to get it. Other than that, that went very well for BattleB.
It really did. Now, I like BattleB. He did multiple things to try to get things out of there. He ran away with the Reapers immediately, but they were both locked on too, so they died. The Cyclone died because of the medevac. But still, what was that? 7, 8, I think 9 total, 7 SCVs went down for AqueroN. He lost some Marines as well. And we're starting to see that in the supply. BattleB, he's up 8 workers. He's up even more workers than he killed. His army supply is better. He's got Ravens on the way. Now, his Ravens are, I was going to say slower, but that's just his 3rd Raven, excuse me. He's going to have a lot of tech in this next army.
That he will, and I feel like AqueroN right now is going to be committing pretty hard. Ooh. Oh, wow. Okay. Well, I was like, he doesn't have more production. He's going into Vikings. That usually means aggression, but is actually going to be mech to follow this up. BattleB will go once again for the lock-on onto his opponent's Cyclone. You always want to target the medevac because once again, you're relying on your opponent making a mistake when you lock onto those Cyclones. And, you know, let's say there's action happening in another part of the map, then I think it's forgivable. Other than that, I think it's a little bit of a weird choice to not go after the medevac.
Yeah, it may have been that the lock-on range was just a little bit too far away for him to, if the medevac was, you know, decently far back. I don't know. But what I can say in this game is we are seeing BattleB take those advantages and leverage them forward. He got a lot of damage done as we see the medevac runs forward, tries to see maybe if he can get a lock on the Raven, maybe. You know, he gets it, but that one tank shot. Steadfast, you've been bemoaning BattleB locking on these Cyclones. He'll always get the pickup. True, but it did just enough damage on those lock-ons and those lock-ons and those lock-ons to mean one tank shot killed him off. It was just planned.
He saw into the future and he knew that AqueroN would overcommit trying to get that Raven. He just predicted the future. And that tank shot was so quick that the Cyclone locked onto the Raven and didn't even get the single tick of damage. That's how quickly the tanks killed those 2 Cyclones. That was very bad time to be the Cyclone pilot, driver, guidance counselor.
Yeah, guidance counselor. No, well, I guess it was more of a guidance counselor told whoever pilots that Cyclone. You know, you're good at you got quick hands. You're good mechanically. You should pilot Cyclones. It'll be a great time. It'll never be perilous. And then BattleB says, "Ha, no."
Oh, guidance counselor was Marine.
Wrong. Oh, it's such a good Marine.
This would have been disastrous if this had gotten into the main base because there is nothing here. The Vikings were very far out of position. There's only 2 factories. That was a game-saving Marine. I'm just going to say it straight up. That was a game-saving Marine. Stim was going to be done by the time he would have gotten in there. 16 Marines on top of this. He probably would have killed at least 15 SCVs, and I think he might have even gotten the main command center if BattleB had been very decisive. Oh, man, that Marine could not have been more clutch.
On the other side, though, I do like that scan from BattleB. Yes, we talked about he maybe was a little overzealous on that aggressive scan earlier, but the moment that drop is scattered out, he scans the 3rd base. He sees those Vikings. He sees where they're going. He says, you know what? I can't hang around here. I can't do that thing where I kind of do the old double bait and switch of, oh, you found me. I've killed your Marine. I'm actually going to hang out here because you don't expect it. And that just means he can bring his entire army together on the left side, which Steadfast, that ledge, that cliff is a strong pushing position that BattleB can try to occupy, but he just stems on top of the auto turrets, get dropped. All the tanks are going to get shut down here. Vikings can do absolutely nothing, and BattleB finds his way onto the high ground. The tanks siege up that ramp, and sure, the Vikings, they're doing what they can, but they're fighting against Vikings of BattleB's own. The Marines doing a great job as well, so 13 SCVs have died, and it's so hard to break these tanks. Now, actually, not a lot of Marines here defensively, so the Vikings can land on top of this now, but still, 14 workers have gone down, and I'm actually really surprised to see AqueroN not landing on this.
Yeah, he is actually going to miss the opportunity if he doesn't do it right now because more Marines are reinforcing for BattleB. He's also going to have that combat shields as well. BattleB, I love the way he took that engagement because he ignored 2 of the tanks that were interference matrix, knowing he was going to siege up his own tanks, and they would just automatically target those. He focused on other important units like the Vikings, like the other units that were ready to fire, ignored specifically the other, the interference matrix tanks, matricide. This is looking like a complete shutdown right now from BattleB on this mech play. We always see a Liberator coming out for AqueroN, and that is going to push these tanks back. But behind this, we've got an air transition. Oh, BattleB, takes a bit of a bad path, but he's still going to be able to save these 2 tanks. And he got a very quick 2nd and 3rd starport. I love that in response to seeing the Viking count from AqueroN. This has just been a great game so far from BattleB. Really showing a good understanding of how to deal with mech in this matchup so far.
Festival, we got a second as AqueroN moves in. I want to point out that BattleB brought those Marines with the retreat. He could have just kind of sat them there, but we saw him very intentionally bring them on top of the tanks as they unsieged, because that has higher threat priority on the Liberators because they shoot up. So those 2 Marines dying meant that those 2 tanks that we see are very low, they both got out. So really heads up play there from BattleB, keeps that tank force alive, and now that means that as we propagate this forward, AqueroN is going to struggle to get across the map. There are so many tanks in the middle that the moment you run into range, it doesn't matter that, I was going to say technically you have better upgrades, but you don't. There is no armory upgrades for AqueroN. He's too far behind. The tank count doesn't matter because the siege is all that matters here.
Yeah. And AqueroN, for a while, he was not building Vikings. His economy has been gutted. He's just now starting to mine. Well, not just now, but he had his gas mining denied at the natural for such a long time. BattleB is on 8 gas. The siege position is big, but the air superiority is also huge. And I love that BattleB delayed his 2-2 upgrades to really prioritize additional air upgrades. Ooh, big siege gonna come on up here. Anti-armor missile will land on the Vikings of BattleB. This is not his time to fight just yet against this. He really shouldn't have engaged with the Vikings there. Well, actually, no. Actually, never mind. It's still fine. It's still 10 versus 10, and he is still going to outproduce his opponent. Re-engaging with the anti-armor missile still on is not really what I'm looking for him to do, just because he knows he should be outproducing his opponent long-term. There's no reason to rush this. Ooh, sneaky siege up coming in from AqueroN. Brilliant little move right here, and he's going to kill like 4 tanks with this.
Oh, that's fantastic. And you talk about all this. I want to point out, BattleB, only just now are we seeing him add Marauders into this. He was pure Marine tank for a long time, which we saw what happened when he took that fight. He had Marines at the front of this tank line. They exploded. They were not there. You can't get on top of that. The Hellbats were just doing a good job of buttressing, of buffering that army. So AqueroN takes a fantastic trade. Okay, the battle report does, actually it does 6 tank going down.
6
3
tanks
SCVs.
for free. Yep. Yeah, no, that was the biggest pocket pick you have ever seen in a tank versus tank war. He just stole 6 tanks out of BattleB's pocket. And that's actually a huge deal right now. It's now 14 tanks to 3, but of course the air transition is what BattleB is focused on. It is 5 Liberators coming down at a time right now. He's already got the +1 air. He's getting into advanced ballistics and the +2 ship weapons. The Viking lead has, well, it's now in favor firmly of BattleB. And it is going to be Liberator versus Thor as the next stage of the game. Look at the upgrades. There's literally no upgrades whatsoever for AqueroN. He's got 0.
I want to point, he had +1 on the way, but I think that drop, he got 3 SCVs, but I think it got the armory. Because I was just checking, there was that's a great anti-armor missile. You can't fight here anymore, AqueroN, but there was no armory. That's why we see 2 on the way. There actually is currently no armory on the map complete for AqueroN. So that drop, we say, it's only 3 SCVs. More consequential than we thought, because it did deny that upgrade. It did shut down any sort of Thor production, something like that, for a while. But AqueroN, as bad as that was, he does have 1-1 on the way now. He does have Thor production again. He's on 4 bases as Hellions find their way into a mineral line.
Oh! No, the SCVs. Oh, God, Commander, are you sure you want us to all bunch up on that refinery? Soldiers, you have your orders. For the last time, we're not soldiers, we're just guys.
Honey bunches of
24
SCVs.
Honey bunches of SCVs. Oh, man. That was carnage. He just killed so many workers.
So Steadfast, I'm going to pull up the resources lost plot. We know BattleB has had more effective harassment the entire game, but now AqueroN has tied it up. It's 25-27. I mean, that moment right there, it slows down BattleB. I mean, okay, look, you're on 6 SCV or 6 bases here, BattleB. You can replace, but not quite as efficient. But first move's advantage here with all these Liberators +2 just about to complete. Extended thermal lance done, or extended range done.
Yeah, extended thermal lance.
There we go. It's fine. This base is dead. SCVs at least only 8 don't go down instead of 24. But AqueroN was not in position to defend that whatsoever.
No, and he gets knocked back down to 3 bases, but let's be real, with all the mule mining he's done and how long this game has already gone, he's really only on an effective 1.5 bases mining. We do see another counterattack coming across the map, but it's really not going to get anything done. It is all about this fight. Nice, decent attempt at a split. The anti-armor missile still lands pretty decently, but as long as BattleB is able to just not throw away pretty much all of his Liberators, I think he's pretty much put AqueroN all in. He just needs to take some decent trades.
And it's so scary. You see all these Liberators at this point. I mean, yes, we do have Thors. There are, how many Thors do we have on the field? There's 7 Thors, but the Liberator count is so strong. They have +2. They have that range that even with the Thor's high impact payload, it's so hard for BattleB to take this fight because they're just reaching out and touching them. But now we get the Liberator siege up. This is the opportunity if there ever was one. Armor missile, anti-armor missile just doesn't go down. Vikings doing what they can. Thors as well. Actually, they're not in Liberator range. So if there is a fight for AqueroN, it's here. But Steadfast, look at the supply. 173 to 135. It just does not work.
Yep, and that's kind of what I was alluding to right there, is any trade for BattleB in this situation, even though he lost all those SCVs earlier, because he knocked out his opponent's 4th base. Oh, and now he's going to kill this command center on the ground. Oh, no. Well, AqueroN was already all in, but now he is even more all in. But yeah, it's the Remax potential. The mech army just can't be replaced right now. It simply cannot. And BattleB, I don't know about throwing away these units. His supply isn't really high enough that you want to throw them away for free. But as long as he maintains his Liberator count, he should be just fine right now. He is actually only on 6 Liberators. I say only, but I mean, with the Thor count, you do have to be a little bit careful. This should still be just fine here for BattleB because he's killing off the frontline tanks. A lot of Liberators do go down, but the tanks are going to shell away at AqueroN's continually depleting force, and BattleB will take a very exciting game number 1 of this series.
You know, I started to believe when we had that run by and it seemed like AqueroN, he had that tank flank, because we all love the tank flank. And it's like, okay, great. You know, he's maxed out first. His tech is going where it needs to be. But I want to point out, losing that armory, so he didn't have +1. He slowed down those upgrades significantly. And then not being able to build the Thor count that he wanted, not being able to build those armory units, meant that BattleB was able to drag himself timing-wise back into that game. And then, well, we all saw what happened when he was up on, what was it, 12, 14 Liberators when he took that fight? All just overlapping fields. It just, it's so scary. There's reach out and everything dies.
Yep. And it was such a tough position for AqueroN. Thors can beat Liberators, but we're usually looking at like 3-3 Thors. We're looking at a relatively big concave. The tanks are not going to be able to cover Liberators in a situation like that. As it was, the tanks on the low ground were like super well protected by those Liberators, and they were in turn covering the Liberators as well, so that anytime the Thors kind of stepped to the edge of the range of the liberation zones, if they could find that little location, the tanks were just shelling away at them, getting free shots. I mean, BattleB played that immaculately, like the quicker than normal Sky Terran transition, the Liberator positioning, that jump he got on his opponent's 4th base, and the subsequent like mass Liberator siege. I mean, it was just textbook.
Well, Steadfast, I would like some of that textbook that you're learning from, because when I try to do things like that, the textbook lies to me. What's happening here is I have the textbook from like 50 years ago, and it's written for 3rd graders, and he has the college textbook, so it works out. It makes sense. But what do you think, Steadfast? You want to see if AqueroN is going to take us to game 3? I mean, he had chances to win that game. I think he'd very much had chances to win that game, but sometimes your tank flanks don't quite work out as well as you would like the second time. Anyways, Inside and Out is map 2.
Yes, it is, as we have spawning up at the top right for the Platinum Heroes. It's AqueroN in red.
In the bottom left now in the blue. He's up 1-0 here. His name is BattleB.
And that is the kind of play that I'm looking to see out of BattleB. That was clinical. It was methodical. It was what I was looking for when I initially said to myself, this is Big Gabe Jr. This is the guy who makes great decisions. He's methodical. He is intelligent. He's got a strong approach to the game, and he really thinks effectively about it. Similar to how, Big Gabe does, but of course, BattleB a lot earlier on that development track. And then the start to this season wasn't great for him. He kind of struggled a little bit. But after that game number 1, it's nice to see that he is still playing quite good StarCraft, some damn fine TVT.
Reminder, by the way, that now we finally have someone who has won a map in this setup. AqueroN went into this series 0-2, 0-4. BattleB went 0-1, 0-2. Maybe I have that flopped. But anyways, no one had won a map in DreamHack Europe thus far, so congratulations to BattleB. You're over the hump. You have a map win. Now, clearly, you're going to make the playoffs. But regardless, now we got to see AqueroN. He's got to get over that hump as well, get that map win. And Steadfast, I don't know. Here on B-Stream, you don't get a lot of Game 3s. I would love a Game 3. That'd be great. Especially when it goes like Game 1. That was fun.
That was a very fun game, yeah. Inside and Out is a much chokier map, so turtling it out is pretty strong. But it is also difficult to defend against aggressive Liberator play. Oh, AqueroN, though. Okay, yeah, he's still mining with all of his SCVs in the main base. He is sending this out. This is going to be a proxy starport. Now, oh, okay. Yeah, this is just going to be me pump Reaper, me pump Hellion, me make either Liberator or Medevac, me go all in, try kill you.
Well, it makes sense, right? BattleB plays for Berserker Esports. What is the best way to fight a Berserker? It's got to be one of your own. Go get a bigger club.
There you go.
Go more caveman. Or I guess actually get a flamethrower and a lot of combat trucks. I guess that also works.
Yeah, I mean, match the Berserker with your own just absolutely wild rage. Now, the only question I have is, will it be a Medevac or a Liberator? Based on everything, yeah, he doesn't have the gas for a Liberator just yet, so will in fact be that Medevac. And he is going to be able to ferry the Hellions into the main base and also jump in with the Reapers. This is going to be tough to deal with, especially because the Widowmine is positioned at the front, and BattleB's got no idea about this.
No, he really doesn't. What has BattleB seen this game? Absolutely nothing. He has had not a scout on the map whatsoever, relying on the 3 Reapers and this just super safe Widowmine opener. So yeah, I'm going to be fine. I guess the only thing that is fine is going to be his economy, because this is going to pack a wallop here. All the Hellions and the Medevac. More stuff keeps rallying across. Actually, not totally sure what that is just yet. Reapers and Hellions, I guess. And AqueroN, he's waiting, though. He says, you know, I want to have the rest of my stuff here, and there we go. Reapers into the main base. Hellions dropping as well. BattleB slowing the reaction anyways. He's still in the natural. He's still not reacting. SCVs are getting pulled, but they're lining up a little bit. AqueroN not looking for that lineup just yet. Instead, he's going to fight the armor. Marines are going to fall. Reapers, they fall. Ooh. Hot pickup there on the Hellions as well. And you know what? Only 6 workers have died thus far. It feels like it could be worse, but in the natural, he will go diving on top of things. A Cyclone, the saving grace. It just does not die as quickly. And BattleB, he has got to back up in the main base. This, I feel like, as problematic as 7 workers of damage is, I feel like this could have been so much worse. And he gets the Medevac.
He does. This could have been so much worse. Yeah, I would go so far as to say it should have been so much worse. So since you build a command center behind this, your target is to kill SCVs. The fact that he didn't kill those lineups is very surprising. And a couple of incredibly clutch grenades right just, you know, out or above his own ramp from BattleB really saved his bacon. He interrupted a lot of DPS. He knocked the units around, and AqueroN, he didn't get enough to actually even really equalize. It's enough that he can macro out of it, but he is a little bit behind.
Well, this Liberator has a little bit different of something to say about it, as the Cyclone is not where it needs to be. So another worker falls. But Steadfast, again, that's 8 SCVs. For this type of aggression, I feel you got to do more. So when we talk about Hellion drops versus, say, a Protoss play, we said, you know what, 8 SCVs is fine. 8 SCVs is kind of the standard, or 8 probes, excuse me, is the standard. When we have Mules here on the get up, and with how much faster BattleB's natural is, 8 SCVs, 8 workers is not enough. Third base, it's just about done for BattleB at this point. And what do you think? We have Ghost on the way. Cloak is just about done. Cloak might as well be useless here with the Ravens. Do these Banshees, do they get enough?
It depends on where the Cyclone and the Ravens are. Cyclone is actually looking for the Liberator right now. And AqueroN, he did... oh, no, he didn't even repair the Liberator up. It took no damage. He just sent it out. If he hits into the natural, and that causes, you know, BattleB to not be really paying attention, This double Banshee could get a lot of damage done. It really does need to. Marine, ooh, spots the army coming forward. This is a great multi-pronged setup right here. This is going to heavily distract BattleB, and this will be a difficult defense. Ooh, the tanks of AqueroN are in range of BattleB's frontline tank. Nice interference matrix on both the Liberator and the tanks in the back. And that's going to allow him to win the fight. He drops the auto turret as well. Will he be able to get this Liberator? No, it is going to survive. That's going to be able to kill a tank. Oh my god, it gets both the Marines as well. And now the Banshees are coming into the back of the base. Great push from BattleB. Oh my goodness, or from AqueroN, I should say. But BattleB, I mean, he's on a third command center. He can absolutely macro out of this. Yeah, this is okay.
That was such a sick minimal defense from Bat. It didn't quite work out. He didn't get the Liberator. The tank shots killed it, but the disables on the auto turret to knock down the threatening tanks from AqueroN and theoretically get the Liberator as well. Such a minimal defense. Now, at the end of the day, he did lose SCVs, and he is down workers, but you talk about 3CC play, that makes a big difference. Even still, I mean, BattleB, recognizing just how little he could commit to that while still making the hold, that was pretty cool. But look at this. Not only am I proxying for a medevac, not only am I proxying for 2 Banshees, I'm proxying for Vikings as well, because AqueroN doesn't know how to build things in his own base.
He certainly does enjoy what he is doing here. Ooh, this is actually really nice. 4 more SCVs do get picked off by these Banshees. And where is the Cyclone? It has not been where it wanted to be this whole time. Now, something very important is that BattleB does have a Viking lead. And once more, AqueroN is going back, and he went for 3 factories before his 3rd command center. So he's committing to a lot of army supply and probably is going to be looking to commit to a big tank Viking push. Oh, man, if BattleB were to be able to recognize that these Vikings were being made or even looked for this starport, he could almost shut this down before it even got rolling, just because he would be able to prevent his opponent from getting Vikings out. And that would really make the slow push, I think, that AqueroN wants to do with this, maybe even a hard contain that he's going to try and set up for, it would make it very difficult to get done.
Oh, good scan there from BattleB as well. He sees the army, says, okay. Actually, no, he didn't see the army, but he does see the factories, and he sees that this 3rd base is not even done. So he has a good understanding of where he is, but oh, I love this play. The Banshees, they don't need to go and kill SCVs at this point. I mean, they would like to, as the Banshees, they get out anyways. They need to kill tanks. And that gives even more credence to this idea that you were talking about, Steadfast, about how AqueroN wants to get aggressive. The tanks are going to be the target there. That tank differential, where you're on 9 tanks, your opponent has 5. You want to bring that as far in the mech player's side as possible. And it looks like, again, getting that 1 tank is fantastic as AqueroN moving on to the right side here. I think he's going to, no, he's going to go through the middle of the map instead, looking to shell out that position between the main, or the natural, and the 3rd base. The scan goes down. He sees the tanks are sieged. And remember, Steadfast, there are no Ravens here for AqueroN. He can't really find a good way in, but he's going to get the start right now. 1 Viking falls, 2nd Viking falls. Great anti-armor missile, though, and he's got to back up for a little bit.
He certainly does, and he actually had one of his tanks disabled there as well. Does lose, or not tanks, the Viking disabled, but AqueroN, he actually pretty much snuck all the way into the natural here. BattleB didn't even see this army coming until he scanned, and the tanks were already sieged up, and now AqueroN is going to take this nasty position in the natural, and BattleB, this almost feels like checkmate right here. I don't even know how you deal with this.
So there are no Marauders on the field. +1 armor just completed. It wasn't ready for the time when AqueroN was moving in. You got to get some really good Raven energy usage. You got to knock these Vikings down in some way, I think. Oh, that's a nice catch there. He gets a Viking, and this is how you break it. You don't break it by fighting the army, Steadfast. You break it by running some of your army onto the other side of the map and forcing AqueroN back home. But I'm not sure that that is going to be possible. There are already 2 tanks sieged up. The stim into the meat grinder here. No. He gets 1 tank. That is not enough here. That is not forcing AqueroN back.
No, it is not. He tries to distract so that his own Vikings can win the fight. He does interference matrix 2 of his opponent's Vikings, and that almost was enough to let him win this fight. The reason he goes for that so desperately is that he's going into the Liberators right here. And now that he's shut down his opponent's Viking production, he actually does have the opportunity to push this back. These tanks in the natural will get cleared up. This is going so well on the cleanup for BattleB. but has he taken too much damage? He's down a ton of workers. It is, oh man, I don't like that he's going into medevacs right now. I think it needs to be, well, I mean, I guess 2 Liberators will do the job. He needs to make sure he wins the air war, though, at the minimum.
I feel like oh, that's a lot. Those were Marines now, where they're just flaming corpses on the ground. I do like the medevacs in part because I don't see BattleB winning a straight up fight in the next 5 minutes. So instead, you get these medevacs. You recognize that the way you win this game now is by multi-pronging. It is by distracting AqueroN, is by getting drops in your opponent's bases, doing things like that. And that's what medevacs enable, the multi-prong, not the straight up fight. But BattleB, he's on the map. Now, AqueroN is as well. Only 2 tanks are here, and Liberator's going to seize these up very quickly. SCVs run. Steadfast, it's base trade, mech versus bio. And if there's a world where BattleB wins this game, it's got to be in the base trade, right?
Absolutely. This is the best case scenario for him. Thors are trying to come on out, and always got to be careful with these Ravens and Vikings. But if he can get on top of the production, the Thors are not going to camp very well against Marine tank right here. And in fact, the interference matrices have so much value against these Thors. 2 of the Thors getting shut down instantly. No ability to hold these Marines out. This is going so well right now for BattleB. Oh, he's on move command, but it is going to be fine still. He's going to be able to get all 3 Thors. He has camped his opponent's production on the other side of the map. Is there enough for BattleB to hold? He just took a huge supply lead. A lot of it is in SCVs, but he uses those SCVs to kill like 4 of his opponent's tanks. It is now no workers to no workers. This is so hard to tell who's going to win this, but I do think BattleB has a huge advantage now.
Oh, he's up 20 army supplies, Steadfast. You talk about no work. I mean, I guess actually AqueroN technically has 4, but already BattleB is flying away. There are not a lot of Vikings here, so some of these buildings should be able to get away and maybe land somewhere else. AqueroN is not doing so. Not yet. He hopes that he can maybe build something, and I guess actually he really, I love that you pointed this out, he really benefits from that proxy starport from earlier on. It means BattleB, well, it means AqueroN doesn't have to float his buildings away as much. It means that still there will be something on the map. Mules get dropped, looking just for that little bit of extra money. Where do we stand here? Let's actually take a look at the building. It is 2 E-bays, those can't float, 5 barracks, 2 orbitals. Really, that's what BattleB has.
Oh, he's going to find the Vikings. He is going to find the Vikings with this. Now, the Vikings also find the orbital. Where's, okay, second orbital is in the main base. BattleB has 2 SCVs. The mule mining at this 3rd base is going to mean so many extra Vikings get to hit the field. These should not have been allowed to do that. Oh, did he drop? I think he, oh my God, I think he's like 1 mineral trip. No, the Ravens. No, he loses 1. The other one getting so low. God, those Ravens are so important. He cannot afford to lose those.
Oh, no, okay, so we got to point this out, Steadfast. As much as this is a mech army versus a bio army, the tank count for BattleB is equivalent. It's 6 tanks to 7. It is all about, as you point out, about these Vikings, about that air dominance, that air superiority. And that honestly matters just a little bit less right now because, well, BattleB, he just has all these buildings in the sky. It seems weird, but okay, so the Viking count is non-existent for BattleB. It doesn't really matter, but you can just fly your barracks in like this, and they're not going to die all that quickly. Maybe that tanks some Viking shots. BattleB, though, he's setting up disengage. The army supply is starting to get a little bit closer. The orbital getting low, and you got to keep those orbitals alive, right? The mules are so important, but here we go. The Ravens going in. They get disabled on 2 tanks, and this has got to be enough for BattleB if he wants to take this game. Moving forward, the tanks, they're on move command. The Vikings looking to land, and this looks like absolutely a fight for AqueroN. This is not going to work out. BattleB falls despite really putting himself in a great spot in that base trade, and we are going to game 3.
That we are.
Ooh.
Things looked so good for BattleB when he initiated that base trade, but AqueroN was able to crisis manage it so much better and really getting that proxy starport able to do what it wanted to do. That won everything. Now, let's rewind like 6 minutes. Imagine those Marines kill the starport. Imagine that happens and everything else goes the same way. And there's no reason that it shouldn't because the game was chaotic. That is kind of... It would make sense, like, we still would have AqueroN going for the Thors. We still would have BattleB going for that desperation base trade. But now subtract, like, 6 Vikings from what AqueroN has. I think it's a straight-up win for BattleB.
Yeah, I mean, that would have been 1 Viking instead of 7. That means the Ravens get all their disables off. They get all their auto... You might even just drop auto turret. No, you still would disable the tanks. regardless, yeah, the Ravens do what they can. But I think even if he doesn't get that, right, even if the Vikings are still where they are, if he doesn't tank, if he doesn't lose one Raven and he doesn't tank 50% HP on another one, I think they still get in. I think he still takes that fight. So missile turret MVP. Don't sleep on your structures, folks.
Actually, that missile turret did straight up win AqueroN the game, 100%. BattleB. The other thing is, too, with the barracks where they were, he could have come in from an unpleasant angle as well with the Ravens. Or even just like if you come in from 3 separate angles, like it's, oh man, the Raven energy was everything. The other thing is, too, his opponent wasn't actually getting stronger. So the more Raven energy that he waited for, even when he just had the 2, it might have still been worthwhile for him to just not rush that engagement.
Yeah, I think if he had gone, so there were 4 Vikings, I think, shelling away at the orbital in the sky. That was a bit away from the fight. Yes. So I think if he rotates his Marines over to kill those Vikings, then he can start mining again. And then,
I don't know if he wouldn't have been able to save it, but it's tough. It's so tough to make the right call in that decision, in that situation. I understand, but yeah, just thinking of ways that it could have gone a little differently.
Yeah, there are so many. You have so many balls up in the air that you're trying to juggle. Or I guess it's October now, so pumpkins. But anyways, you know what? There's another game. There's a shorter map. Even we're gonna be moving into Waterfall for map 3.
That we are, and winning the base trade proxy starport MVP. It is Platinum Heroes AqueroN in the red.
His opponent in the upper right. He won game 1. He fell in the ladder, but it was a sick game. He is BattleB.
Oh man, that proxy starport was, so it built a medevac, then it built a tech lab and 2 cloaked banshees, then it built a reactor, and built what, like 6 Vikings?
I think more. It built a lot of because that was the primary. That was the primary Viking production of the entire game for AqueroN.
Well, I'm just thinking for the first reactor. So it built like 6 Vikings from the first reactor, maybe even 8. Might have been more than that. Then it has to fly away, and then builds more Vikings from a second reactor. That starport was just an absolute workhorse.
It's one of those things where, whoever, because I don't think the starport died in that game anyway, so whoever, all the workers that manned that starport. Actually, wait, in Terran lore, are the factory and the starport, are those fully automated structures, or do they have people that work inside of them?
I mean, I know the missile turret's got the guy inside.
Yeah, he was absolutely MVP of that last game.
He was. So weird to say that a missile turret was the MVP.
No, it's the missile guy gunner.
Actually, okay. The missile guy gunner. So here's actually the super funny part, is it's possible that there were 2 MVPs in that game, but we can't decide which building it was. We can't decide if it was the proxy starport or the missile turret at the 3rd base. How often can you say that is the case?
At least once, because it happened last game, but other than that,
there you go.
I got nothing.
Yeah. That was cool, though. That was very fun. Will be a much more standard game. This time, AqueroN pulling SCVs off gas, so he's not going to be going for that incredibly quick 1-1-1 attack. We do have BattleB on the other side, getting the Reaper straight up into Reactor. So that's going to allow him to go for a little bit of aggression if he is so inclined. It just lets you get more Reapers at a quicker timing since you get that Reactor faster. It's a little more dangerous against something like a Proxy 2 Rax Reaper, but it is a strong way to play.
That it is. Now, Steadfast, you talked about Inside and Out. Is this map that is super choked out, right? Oh, it's going to leave us to this long game. And it was a long game, but it was a long game because it was a base trade. But as you so point out, well, we're seeing BattleB take a page out of Cure's book a little bit with those reactored Reapers. Again, both players, they seem to have aggression on the mind, and then it kind of works, and then we get these really interesting mid to late game TVT. So Steadfast, I'm going to ask you to make a call right now. As we have reactored Reapers popping out, the 5 Reaper 3 heli and pressure, does it get anything done? Or are we just in that scenario where it's like, okay, my opponent also opened barracks double gas factory, so we just trade army for army and the game goes on.
I think it actually will be able to get something done here. Ooh, he is going to split up these units. And the supply depot... Okay, he sees one of the Reapers. One of the Reapers gave up the Jig a little too early. AqueroN very late to respond, but now the Hellions are going to be able to run into the natural very shortly. BattleB will get away with 3 of the 5 Reapers, and he is going to catch a fresh Mule, and... Ooh, does he get... Okay, he gets 1 more SCV. Yeah, I think this is pretty worth it.
It does slow your tech down a little bit, right? You get those extra Reapers, that is gas. You don't get any tech lab, or you don't get any add-on on the factory because you are building Hellions out of it a little bit longer. So it slows your tech down a little bit, but hey, this is a paired build. This is a mirrored build, and AqueroN finds himself down somewhere between 5 and 7 SCVs. That's even more than the damage that BattleB did. So absolutely, BattleB, he's going to be pretty happy about how this game is started.
Yeah, and he only lost 1 Hellion, 2 Reapers for 4 SCVs, and you may say, oh, in terms of cost, that's not worth it, but he got a fresh Mule as well. A very fresh Mule in the natural. It had at most mined 1 trip of minerals. That's 200 minerals down the drain, since it should get, 225 minerals during its life, as well as he forced the little bit of lost mining time in the main, in the natural as well. The other Mule that was also fresh had to stop mining for a little while. That's probably another 50 minerals right there. So just the Mules alone, that's at least 250 minerals. You add in the other bit of extra mining time. I don't know how many SCVs were not mining for a while, but it puts BattleB into a great position economically. And since he saved the majority of his units, AqueroN really can't go for a counterattack. Advantage BattleB for sure. AqueroN, though, he's doing the same thing he did in game numbers... Did he do it in game 1? I'm not too sure, but he definitely did in game 2, focusing heavily on Viking production. Oh, no, he did do it in game 1. Yeah, focusing heavily on Viking production once again. And it feels like he wants to go mech, maybe for the 3rd game in a row.
I mean, Steadfast, you say that, but I'm looking at this, and AqueroN only has 3 gas. Now, that may be because he's saying, he is making the decision that he needs more gas, or that he needs more minerals to make up for that damage he took. We'll see the Cyclone go down. Not often you see Hellion Reaper killing Cyclones, but there you go. Anyway, 4th gas now, but it's almost 6.5 minutes into this game. I think it's less determined. I mean, we see the late stem, and that may make the difference, but I think it's less obvious that this is going to be mech than previous games. But for right now, the Vikings, the Ravens go forward. Auto turrets get dropped, sniping a Raven there, but it's still only 1 Raven for 1 Raven. The Raven counts are still equal, but how do you fight these Vikings in the air if you're BattleB?
Well, it's going to be very difficult. In fact, these tanks are sprinting to a location where he's locked BattleB out of getting back to his own natural. This is very tricky. Oh, no, the Marines don't go. Okay, he does pull back. That would have been very bad. BattleB is a little bit trapped right here. AqueroN, oh, man, he has put a very uncomfortable situation onto the field for BattleB. AqueroN is really committing off 2 bases here. He's getting even a Liberator. Vikings are going to land. I love that, so that he doesn't lose them. I think BattleB needs to be using a lot of scans right now to know exactly what's going on. And he's on triple command center. He should be going for these scans. AqueroN is going to just take the chance. He's going to move forward with all the tanks. Vikings are going to land for AqueroN, and BattleB, he's going to have a tough time holding. He's not even moving these units back home. He's going to try and drop Marines maybe on top of that. That actually could be very good. No, he's going for the counterattack. That is okay. I actually don't like that.
Steadfast. I want to point this out, by the way. AqueroN got himself in a similarly fantastic siege up position in game 2. Oh, the SCVs, the tank shots. Oh, 30 workers go down. Oh, and the natural's gonna go down here as well. There's no saving that one. But AqueroN got himself in this wonderful sieged up position in game 2, and then BattleB wiggled his way out of it. Right, the game went late. I love that AqueroN goes 1 step further in game 3. From the full Nelson, he just leans down even harder. And then he makes it so, okay, BattleB, you're not weaseling your way out of this one anymore. The tank siege is even more powerful. Just moves straight into the natural. And now we have Vikings here. They're sieged up. They're floating on all the production, so no Vikings of BattleB will ever survive. I would like to see the Liberator siege up just on top of these barracks at this point. Make sure that any Marines pop out, they go down. We got a bit of a response here from BattleB. Finally, those tanks join the fray, but it does not matter. The Eagle flies, and AqueroN, he takes